Once upon a time, there was a king in a castle. It's a fortress, really. Very strong, powerful fortress. But this huge army was able to come up on this fortress and force them all inside the castle gates and the walls and everything. And this massive, massive army came and surrounded the castle. And now everyone's freaking out because, they only have so much time where they have food and water. If we run out of food and water, you starve out. You can't open those gates. You open those gates, it's over. You're done. So no matter what they say down there, you can't open those gates because you're no cussing. 2020, no cussing. You're Frenched. All right, you're Frenched if those gates open. So the king doesn't know what to do. Right? Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's coming up to him. What are we gonna do? Oh my gosh! It's too late. The soldiers, the army that's inside, it's not an option to go out and fight and attack. You just can't do it. No one knows what to do. So they call the wizard, right? They call the old wizard, and mage, get the mage, call the wizard. So they get the wizard. The wizard comes, walks in with his dusty old blue robes and his little pointy hat with the stars on it, right? Because that's what wizards actually look like in real life, right? And then with his little staff, and he comes walking in. I be the wizard. The wizard is here. And the king's like, wizard, there's an army outside. What shall we do? What can be done about this? Can you summon dragons? Can you summon demons? Can you summon the dead and their armies to help us and fight for us and against our enemy? And he's just kind of sucking on his little snaggletooth. You know what I mean? It's all loose and shit, wiggling it with his little tongue. And he's like, I have a plan. I have an idea. The counterpinch goblin. Gets all his supplies, his apprentice comes out and starts setting everything up. They're like candles, the incense is going, he's doing his incantations, he's drawing his spells and his sigils all around his circle, raising the energy. It's all crazy looking, everyone's like, oh, the king's court's like, oh my gosh, green flames and freaking gold diamond dust and glitter flying around everywhere and little swirls and energy bursts and shit's all badass. And then he's standing over this thing and he's all and it's and this little thing, he summons an entity. It comes out of the ground. It's like brr. He kind of steps back and everyone's looking and the smoke is clearing and stuff. And it's a little 1.5 foot tall green goblin with one eye, and he's got all these bumps and boils on him. It's his left leg doesn't work too good. And he's like, I am here. And the wizard just looks super proud of himself. He's like, I have done the thing you have asked me to do, my king. And the king looks at the goblin, and he looks at the wizard, and he looks at the goblin, and he like looks at his people, and his people are like, and the king kind of starts like slowly drawing his sword out, and the head, like king's like, I'm gonna cut this fool's head off right now, right here in front of everyone. And the wizard like gently touches his finger against the hilt of the sword and kind of just pushes it back. He's like, just you wait, just you watch, trust in the counterpinch goblin. And they're like, wizard, if you fail us, we shall have your head before we die at the hands of this mighty army. And he's just kind of, I don't know, whatever, nonchalant. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. Whatever. All right. So they all follow this little tiny 1.5 foot tall little green goblin with this crazy limp. Like he's like, so he mobs out. He goes to the main courtyard, and he goes to where the main gate is, right? and he kind of like squeezes his bones all together and just like squeezes through the little crack. He's magical. He's magical. He's a magical goblin. It's totally legit here. And so, yeah, he sneaks out. All right, and he's, you know, whatever. And he goes to one tent, like the first tent he sees. So he's all like, you know what I mean? And he goes in there. There's a soldier sleeping next to a bunch of, you know, there's a bunch of soldiers sleeping. He goes in there and he pinches the soldier on the ass like as hard as he can. He's like, it's counter pinch goblin, right? The soldier wakes up, like slaps the dude next to him, like, what the heck? What'd you do that for? The other soldier rolls around, but he's got his sword in his, like, I don't know, the sword's like exposed. It's just kind of like, you know, like in his little, like, I don't know, it's like a quarter sheath or something. There's like this much leather and then the sword. So he turns over, and that thing, it cuts the dude in the neck, and he's like, screaming. The other soldiers wake up. They're like, what the heck? And then the dude, you know, he comes at him with his sword. The guy who got cut, he goes at the other one with his sword. They start fighting. A couple other people draw their sword. We're like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, the camp starts getting alerted. People start going over there. Someone's running with the torch. You know what I mean? With some light to like see what's going. Like the counter pinch goblin, like he's right in front of his legs, does this little freaking 180 spin, pinches him in the ass. The guy freaking, he throws his torch. It lands on the tent of one of the lieutenants. The lieutenant's tent is on fire. Someone starts yelling, "We're under attack! The enemy is out here! We're under attack!" Right? Like all kinds of craziness is going down. He sneaks into the commander's tent. You know what I mean? He pinches one guy in the ass super hard, and the guy's like, what the heck? He turned his sword, cuts the other dude's leg, like one of the other high commanders. What the heck did you do? And they freaking fall over in the tent pole, and then that side of the tent goes down, and the fire's it. So now that tent's on fire, and then the head commander, he's like, what is going on? And then he gets pinched in the ass, and he swings around, and there's a guy standing right behind him. And it just, insanity, chaos. So now the king, they went up to the top of the ramparts, right? And they're kind of looking down. They see fires. Horses are tearing through the camp. There's soldiers are battling each other. Like just all this fucking insanity. And they're like, oh, that old wizard. Like, you know, they're just, it's fucking hilarious. The next morning, right? So they're just like, what? There's rubble and smoke and there's catapults that are turned over and fucking, there's bodies everywhere. There's just horses kind of just chilling, not really knowing what to do. Like there's like a couple guys just kind of going through, like, I don't know, they're just like essentially looting their own selves and their own army. And there's like crows and ravens picking out eyeballs and, you know, eating entrails and all that. And you see all the dead spirits, you know, just walking around, chilling, like, oh, fuck, well, we're all dead. And, I cussed. 2020, I blew 2020, no cussing. It hasn't even been 8 freaking hours. I blew it. And then the little goblin, he sneaks back in. And he looks at the king and at the wizard. He's all, your army has been defeated, sir. Sirs, good sirs. I have to work on it. I didn't. This is unscripted. It's true story. All this is true story. So imagine this in your head. The counter pinch goblin who took out a vast, powerful, well-organized, synchronized army. So mote it be.